Camera is going.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, I should make sure if that thing is. Hold on.
What?
Give me some more.
Oh.
Actually, hold on. I'm still not done. Camera's rolling. Are you actually in
I
it?
think I'm good, yeah.
This will happen. Just give me a second. Okay, ready? And we're hitting record.
Alright.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we are on the air.
Alright.
Episode 3 of Table Talk 23.
Episode 3, including video this time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What up?
This is the first time we're including video in our podcasting because from a marketing standpoint.
I was waiting for her to answer because I don't have an answer. She was like, "We're gonna do it." I'm like, "Okay, sure." Whatever.
Hold on. Ours is super loud.
Okay.
Okay.
That's okay. Maybe I'll stay back here.
Okay. So, yes, as you know, from a marketing standpoint, I figured many different sources of reaching people.
Yes.
Some people actually prefer visual methods and some other auditory.
It's true.
So I figured give people more options.
Yeah, and it's like it kind of gives them a visual who's talking.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most people that are gonna watch this are gonna be our friends anyway. But like, it's like listening to the radio and you just have this visual of what they look like, and then you see them in a picture and you're like, what? That's what they look like?
Yeah.
It's so odd.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely for me. I know I look a little odd. So.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Okay, so here we are, Table Talk 23.
Mm-hmm.
The mic is still kind of funky, so sorry if the podcasting people out there, whoever's listening, sorry for... What is it?
It stopped.
Why is it stopping?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
You moved it and it stopped. I was like,
Okay, we'll just start. Okay.
oh, I think it's going to go now. If you click to record. Yeah.
Okay. I
There
don't
we
know.
go.
I don't know what happened there, but okay. So
We're back on.
we are back on. Sorry, technical difficulties. Welcome to Table Talk 23. It is a monthly podcast that my good friend Mark and I do. We are two kind of same-spirited but walking completely different paths. Like Mark's an actor. I'm a entrepreneur, but we get together every so often to talk about life
Mm-hmm.
and kind of catch up. And
And we just bring you in the conversation.
yeah.
You're like the third wheel you never wanted to be. That's
Yeah.
kind of what this is.
So, welcome, third nipples.
Those are pretty cool though. So consider yourself
Are
pretty
you speaking
awesome.
from experience, or like, is there something I need to know about?
Actually, I could comment on that, but I won't.
Okay. All right. So, since the last time, let's make sure I don't knock my guitar down.
Guitar. You're still in the frame. Don't worry.
Okay. So since the last time we talked,
Mm-hmm.
you were taking classes in LA,
Mm-hmm.
and that's finished.
They are.
And let's talk about that because I want to
Okay.
know how it went, how your experience
Sure.
was. Like, what did you learn from it? Man,
Yeah.
that's an experience, you know?
Okay, well, okay, so it was total 12 classes from 10 to 1:30 in the afternoon, and basically typically went there, took the plane Monday, and then left on Wednesday, had a free day on Tuesday. Typically there was 2 days though that I flew in and flew out the same day. But as far as what I learned, I feel like, I mean, there was just times where I was really challenged as far as making up a story on the spot. And that one particular thing, I just was not very good at it.
Mm.
You know, it was like,
Are you not a very good improv?
well, improv character-wise, I'm okay at.
Okay.
Like, yeah, I'm going to start using this voice, and we're going to talk about how I learned to read at 3 years old.
So you're okay with
know,
building upon
like-
other people's stories?
Yeah, other people's stories, or just a suggestion that I can build on using a character's voice and body movements and things like that. But when they're saying, okay, here's a bunch of people that are going to basically put their bodies in a position like a movie poster. Basically, it was a movie poster improv exercise. And so like there was 3 people that would like, you know, put their hand on this person's shoulder or something like that, and you would be turned around. And they go, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, turn around. And then you just have to just out of nowhere think of a whole story. There's you have to think of the title of the movie, you have to think of the plot, like a summarized wording of the plot, and then a tagline for the movie, like this. It was like, oh, this is hard. But I did the best I could, and I was through my ramblings, and you can see the teacher like, no. I mean, he wasn't. I mean, there was a couple other people that did the same thing. I'm just maybe hard on myself. But that was one particular moment that I was like, wow, this is really challenging. And so I learned, I guess for me, it was just putting myself in the fire. Because we walk away from, or run away from fear. It's just fear where we're just like, I don't know if I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm not good enough. I don't think I'm gonna, and especially when some people are really good at it. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh my God, I gotta follow that.
And you met you were in LA, so you might have met.
There was 12 people total, 11 other people. And there was a varied range. There was a couple people that were really good, and most people were medium skilled. But overall, for me, it was like just, almost 90% of the time when he said, hey, I need 2 volunteers to come up, I would go. And after like the 8th class, whenever he would do that, everybody would look at me and be like, go ahead, Mark, because every time you've gone, so go ahead, go first. And I'll just end with this. Like, basically, that was one way for me to challenge myself. I'm not going to get on a plane and, spend some money to get there and spend all that time to just not challenge myself, to not push myself the extra mile. And so, the end of the class, he gave us a 5-minute evaluation to determine if we went to the next class, to the next level or not. And I was not chosen to go to the next level, which is fine, especially because in the very first class, he was like, 70% of people don't go to the second level. Even really good improvisers don't go to the second level. And so I kind of put that pressure off of me anyway. So I was just like, I was having fun. I know I was challenging myself. I know that I failed a couple times, more than a couple times. But I love that. And just for the viewers and for you, it's like, if I'm not failing, I'm not like trying to set the bar higher. I don't want to plateau. I don't want to go where it's easy. I wanted to continue to challenge myself. So I did that. I am proud of myself. That is
pretty amazing. So just a backstory. He lives in Sacramento, but he had to, for how long was it? How many weeks?
6 weeks.
6 weeks. He would fly down to LA every week for like 3 days, right? And take these classes. So that's dedication right there.
Definitely.
How would you describe like the difference in, I guess, a level between, because you've taken classes in Sacramento and then now you're like actually in LA taking classes in LA. Like, was there a level difference?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, this is the actual Groundlings class.
Right.
I've been taking a workshop with a local teacher here for like a couple years now, like on and off, not like the whole time, but like probably like 4 classes based on the same Groundlings style improv, same similar rules. But for the class I took in LA, take that whole class and accelerate it by 3 to 5, because instead of certain rules that you have to abide by, it's not just you have to establish your relationship. You have to be much more detailed about it. So basically, it's just a lot more detail, and so it's just much quicker. I can go into the details of improv, but it's like it's just accelerated, and then if you fail, you fail. And the teacher's like, no, that's not how you do it. And you're like, dang it. But yes, definitely a higher caliber.
That's awesome.
For sure.
I'm so proud that I remember when you first brought it up. It's probably just before Christmas, after Christmas. I don't remember. No, I don't remember when it was maybe 2 weeks. I don't remember. It was, I don't know, whatever. I don't know what I'm saying.
At some point.
Yeah, at some point. The last 2 podcasts we've done, you've mentioned it, and I thought it was...
Yeah, no, I think at the last one, I went to 2 classes.
Was it 2 classes?
I think it was like a full a week of classes, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so you did that, and that's crazy how time flies.
Right.
Damn.
So...
Good job.
Yeah, and it was... Okay, so what I learned... Okay, so mainly 2 things. One is I learned that... learned more about improv and what it takes and all that stuff. And as far as Groundlings style improv, okay, I got that. But a more big picture thing is that I came away with a little more confidence, like maybe 1.5%. I told myself, I want to go back. I want to go back to the basic level again and go and do the LA thing again. And I don't think I mentioned this to you, but I mean, I mentioned it 100 other times. This is the time. I know I've said this before, and this is being recorded on multiple platforms now.
There's cameras everywhere.
She's got cameras everywhere.
There's like a crew.
There's a camera. Yeah, we lied the whole time. There's not just the 2 people. There's like 17 camera crew behind us. Hey, Bobby. Nice to see you. But the fact is that on Monday, well, I already started, but on Monday is the official, like, I'm going to go to the studio and work on the solo show that I've been wanting to do this whole time.
You have a studio?
Well, the studio that I've been going back to. The one that I used to rent.
You have that now?
No. I'm just saying I'm going to go there because I made a deal with my teacher to go back there to rent it out, basically renting it from him.
Oh, okay.
Like a day a week or something.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just saying, as a promise on this podcast, as well as 15 times to her already. And Bobby.
Don't let Bobby
Yeah, no, yeah, Stuart and Chuck and Larry and Mo back there. But the point is that I came back with 1.5% extra confidence, and I'm like, okay, what do you want to do as an actor? All that stuff, and I'm like, I really want to go back to the basic class and do it again and have fun. But I was like, I really want to get this done. I really, really want to get it done. So I started the process like a couple days ago, and I started continuing my solo show, and so it's gonna happen.
Oh, good.
Within a couple weeks, a rough draft will be done. A couple months, a month after that, I'm gonna be searching for a director, and by July 23rd, it's gonna happen. That's the
July 23rd.
That's the latest date. It could be earlier than that.
Hold him up to that, Bobby. July 23rd.
Bobby, I'm looking you right in the eyeballs. You need to make sure I follow through. No, I need to make sure I follow through. So anyway, that's what I came back with, and I'm gonna do that.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations. You know what? And that was my follow-up question was, this Groundlings workshop, did it solidify your, desire to continue doing this work? Because sometimes when people, for instance, when they start working in that field and they get like really, because there's like a surface level, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you get into it deeper and deeper and deeper, and the deeper you go, you start learning more and more about it. And oftentimes when you get to a certain level, some people get turned off by the whole idea.
Sure.
And I feel like this is a whole new level that you've kind of hit as an actor,
Yeah.
You're not just a local actor, you've branched out.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, and now you're kind of taking like serious classes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm just...
And I think that actually relates to what I've been writing, the solo show. It's because I know it's in me to take it another step. I know it's in me to take another step. And so coming back and I'm like, okay, so is this the time? Because you've said this 404 times. Like, is this the time you're going to get serious?
Right.
So to the point, it's like, yes. I feel so. I feel that way. I need to, if this is, and that's the thing. I continue to ask myself, if this is what you want, then why aren't you taking it more serious? And I basically had enough of myself, and I need to, and so I have the plan. I have the plan. And the thing is, like I said last time, I don't have an agent now. I don't have any other strong obligations. It's like it's all coming together. And that's the thing. I do think that this happened for a reason.
Right.
I do think that coming back with that 1.5% extra confidence was like enough to kind of bring me over, the catalyst to bring me out to that mind frame, the mentality to say, okay, I'm going to do this, regardless if I'm going to fall. And I think that's part of the class, is that I was up there and there was like, they were like, hey, all right, make a story. And I was just babbling, like rambling, blah, blah, blah. And I just fell, and I fell, and I fell again. But it allowed me to get up and be like, hey, you know what? I went through it. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to come back to Sacramento, and I'm going to do a show that I've been wanting to do for years and years and years. Even if I fall flat, even if it sucks, it's not going to suck. But even if it sucks really bad, it doesn't matter because I need to get it out. So.
I also think what might be good is our levels are so different. I'm looking at that right now. I need to get closer. But I think that these workshops are so important in other ways outside of just studying, because you need to surround yourself in that environment to keep yourself motivated. Because there's only so much you can do to motivate yourself. And that's the same thing as an entrepreneur, you know, like I could read as many books, I could watch as many YouTube videos, but having those like mentors or attending those like physical classes where you surround yourself with other people who are on the same path as you, like there's a fire that gets lit.
Yes. What was the last thing that you went into, that workshop, class, Tony Robbins conference, like honestly, one of those last things?
I think the last thing was the Tony Robbins, and that was 2016, so I'm like way overdue. But recently we picked up a mentor. And,
locally?
Actually, not in Sacramento, but he's in Fresno. Okay. But he's been helping us with our business, and this last, I think, 2 weeks or so, it's been a, for lack of a better word, bitch. You know, I think for our business, Matt and I, we're at that plateau that happens quite often. First, you get this like forward momentum, and you're like, yes, this is exciting. I have passion for this. This is really good. And then stuff stops working, and it happens a lot. And then you try all these different methods of maybe advertising or marketing, or like change up the products, change up the audience, hoping that something will stick, and something doesn't. And then you end up feeling like you're just constantly hitting your head against a wall, just hoping for this wall to break. And you're like blood splurting everywhere, but you're still just like sitting there hitting your head against a wall. Yeah. And that's what it's felt like for the last couple weeks.
Jeez.
And
I'm sorry.
It was pretty awful. I mean, I can't even, but being able to, because I was on the phone with, Matt and I were on the phone with our mentor today for about 3 hours. And he sat us down and he was like, you know, you guys are on the right position. Like, all your products are good. Everything you're doing is, you know, as far as the site goes, aesthetically, everything is right. The only thing that you guys are missing is this little tweak that you have to make. And he said, you're 99% there. And he said everything that we know. But to have a third party, somebody who's not in it with us, you know, just somebody who could be completely objective, be like, hey, you guys are on the right track. You just have to push forward. And just to have that somebody tell you that makes the world of a difference, right?
Yeah. So, especially someone that comes from that arena, exactly.
Yeah. And that's why I think, like, right now, you're super fired up. Yeah. And I believe that, you know, I think you gotta keep putting yourself in those positions.
That's very true.
Maybe even like outside of just the Sacramento ones too. Maybe find some in San Francisco. Just put yourself in different shoes and different surroundings. Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. I think that's so important. Yeah. And that's why I looked at that class, not just the class, but the journey of the class, as a sort of like a work vacation, because it was like, it took, you know, it increased my level of craft, but it also pulled me away from the local base, from home, from regular life, and was like, had a little more relaxation. Got to walk around Hollywood Boulevard, see all the characters there. Went to the Jimmy Kimmel show with my dad, and just got to relax a little bit more. And and it like kind of like solidified, like, okay, I'm back with more exuberance and ready to go and stuff. And
definitely the spark in your eyes is back.
Yeah.
It was kind of, it's always been there, but kind of dulled. Very dulled, but you came through the door, you're practically in like a musical. I'm surprised you weren't like pirouetting across my living room.
Well, it's partly because I want to get out of the damn car.
Well, that's true.
I'm an Uber driver, and so I'm like ready to get out and like talk to somebody that I know. So that's part of it.
It's cool.
Yeah.
And, well, it's more like fun when you're talking about your passion,
That's true too.
When you were talking about acting, I think the last couple podcasts we did, there was a little bit of like a dullness in the way you talked about it. But to hear that, like, it's nice to hear that.
She just called me dull.
Yeah, he told
right in my face.
Totally dull.
No, I'm just kidding. No. I think we all go in ebbs and flows, and I think that you have a chance to kind of just pull out of yourself, pull out of your regular life, and just like, okay, what do I really want to do? And time is now. The time is now.
Yeah.
So what's going on with you? You said last time, and I've been seeing it on a lot on social media, you've been started a new company. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And is that part of the frustration you had in the last 2 weeks? Or was that something different?
Well, that's the only thing we're doing right now.
Oh, okay.
But it's been tough. It's so weird because it's also like a drug almost. I don't know. Sometimes I sit here and wonder why Matt and I put ourselves in this position.
Yeah.
Why don't we just take the easy way out? Sometimes. But there's just...
So what is the goal then? I know her a little bit, and I know some of your, goals, I guess. So, but what is it? Like, what is the easy route? And then what are you trying to do?
I think right at this moment, my goal is just to be able to survive. Not survive, but to be able to just make a living, pay for things that, I'm part of, my internet, the roof over my head, food in my fridge, to be able to pay for it without, or at least with my business that I'm running, which I've been able to do before. Obviously, I had the media company and everything, but I don't know, sometimes I think, why don't I just go get a job? And like pretty much sometimes almost, and to be honest, like put myself out of this misery. Because it is, like there is no stability in what we do. But at the same time, there's like this, I don't know, I think that, like, why don't I just put myself out of my misery and just go get a job? What am I doing to myself? Mm-hmm. But there's also this feeling of, I feel so alive. I feel alive in that, like, I hate roller coasters, but roller coasters of life just gets me. Like, I actually do enjoy the ups and downs. I don't even know. I don't know. It's been a hell of a week. Huh. Or hell of a couple weeks. It's basically since the last time I talked to you. It's been kind of intense. But I just can't quit.
That makes sense. When you say you feel alive, and so getting a real job, that makes you feel dead.
Pretty much.
It's like, I don't want to do this.
I had a job for a week in December, or was it January?
More than a week, wasn't it?
was like a week and a half. I don't even remember. But I remember I walked into the door and I sat down.
You're just like, oh.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there's, to anybody who has a job out there, like, there is nothing wrong with having a job. Having that kind of stability, people need that, and I get it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just, personally, for myself, I can't live that life.
Yeah.
I can't live that 9 to 5, clock in, clock out, pee when they tell you to, eat when they tell you to. Like, I value my I value my freedom so much more than security. And that's something I've learned very much. This last month, I will do absolutely anything and as much as I can to keep my freedom before I pick security.
How long how long has it been since you had a regular job?
Excluding the one
that's recent.
The one. I think the last one was back in, it was right before my dad died. So it was, actually it was way before that. I think it was like 2014, 2013.
Okay. So that's a good
So it's been about 5 or 6
5 years,
yeah.
5-6 years.
But I still remember that feeling. I remember it.
But I think the more you go with that feeling of I want my, the more you go move away from those times, the harder it is to say, okay, I'm going to go back.
Yeah. Well,
it's like you just want to keep that feeling. It's a dreadful feeling to go back.
But I mean, I also understand the necessities because I mean, obviously we live in a society where money trumps everything, right? You need money in order to put the lights on in your house, feed yourself. So at the end of the day, like, if you need to find a job as you're pursuing other things, that is, you do. I mean, there is a time where you have to make that call. Luckily, I'm not there yet. But
don't say yet.
Yeah.
You don't want to be there.
No, I know. That was poor choice of words on my part.
We'll edit that later.
It's just a big bleep.
What was that? That's not a cuss word.
It is in our language.
Yeah, no, seriously. It should be.
But yeah, so I don't know, it's been an interesting week. There's a lot of, I've also changed up a lot of my habits.
Okay.
So I do a lot of, hey, hold on.
Holding.
All right, we're
Ready.
back.
We're back.
Okay, so technical difficulties, the camera battery died. Anyways, I don't even remember.
We were talking about, you kind of passed it to me and you said, oh shit, we're going to have to edit this part. Talking about goals, and then I was saying, and then you said about the show, and then I was about to say, yeah, something like that.
Something in those.
Yeah, so anyway.
But, I was saying
Goals.
I remember what I was saying. So I'm a highly disorganized person. I've never been organized. The fact that this is clean right now is surprising. But I think what I've realized, because that's one of the things that I've been working on this month, is working on habit building. Mm-hmm. And I realized the power of habit, aside from like just doing going to the gym every day. Mm-hmm. What I realized is it gives you less of an opportunity to say no to yourself, in the sense that you stop allowing yourself to disappoint yourself. Mm. You know what that means? So, for instance, yeah, I could go to the gym today, but I know if I don't go, nothing's going to happen. Nothing bad's going to happen to me. And to be able to tell yourself, it doesn't matter, I'm going regardless. And to put that in your mind and constantly pound it in has increased my productivity for everything else around me. Because I don't let myself have excuses anymore.
Yes.
So, anyways, yeah.
No.
If that makes sense.
Well, reiterate that again.
Are you sure you don't have to use the bathroom?
Oh, sure. I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm good. Just the way I'm holding myself, I don't know. No, it's true. I feel like I give myself, I'm not going to say for other people, I give myself so many excuses.
I think we all do.
It's so much, and I've had this, even hesitate to say that I was going to do the solo show to you, because like I said this 100 times. But there's a couple other people recently that I said that this is what I'm going to do. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this now. I forgot where I was going with this. But, fear. And it's just all those times, it's fear-based. Fear.
Right.
What are they going to do with this? They don't think my writing is good. Am I going to present it well? I don't want it to be a TED Talk. I want it to be engaging. I want it to have, all this stuff. Okay, and then I have to get it's just so many things that go into it. And, but yeah, having the cards and having the question, having those, saying those every day. And then even if you don't have a significant jump, but it's like, calling one person or, reading one article about this particular goal, it pushes you toward that goal more and more and more. And that's why I think it's so important for us to write them down.
I don't know if have you ever heard of a guy named Ramit Sethi? Okay. Well, he's very popular in the self-help, entrepreneur space. But one of the things he was saying was, if you did everything entrepreneurs told you to do in order to get motivated, then basically your day would look like 4 a.m. Get up, 4:30 drink 8 gallons of water, 9 to 10 meditate, 10 to 11 go to the gym, 11 to 12 eat a healthy breakfast, and by the time you're ready to start your day, your day's over, right? And what I've realized, because I've tried so many of those things where entrepreneurs are like, oh yes, start your day with a gratitude journal, or start your day with blah 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 blah, but to find one thing that you can build that's a positive habit, something that does, because you will find something that helps motivate you if you stick to it. Find it, and to be able to find that helps you does go along.
That one thing.
And that one thing for me turned out to be just writing it down every day. Because these, back here, I don't know if anyone can see it, but I have a vision board back there. And that is a very popular thing that entrepreneurs always talk about.
Right.
And yes, it does help. And in fact, this is my second one. And the first one I built, I ended up accomplishing almost all of it on my board. And this is my second one. But it doesn't necessarily motivate me, especially because it's sitting behind me, so I don't really have to look at it. But to be able to have it written down on a piece of paper every morning, man, that just nails it in my head.
It says become a published author. What kind of book do you want to write?
I actually have 2 or 3 written books.
Really?
Yeah.
That you haven't published?
I haven't published.
Wow.
I actually finished them, or the drafts of them. I just never went back and polished them.
Wow.
I have one ranging from a kid's book, self-help book, to a comedy fiction.
Very interesting.
I just never went back to it. But that is my goal, but right now I'm focused on building something else right now.
Yeah.
So that is something that's going to eventually be a part of my life. But
I think I told you this. I'm working on books as well.
No shit.
Yeah. So I have again, fear. It's fear. Every time it's not, well, this is a different kind of fear, but it's and you feel vulnerable. That's another part of it. You're just okay, if I relate this. Because, it's the first one I was thinking about, the writing was basically a bunch of poems and sayings and stories, personal stories, and little observations that I wrote in the last, years ago, basically. And just compiled all of them from my notebooks, because I wrote a lot as a kid. Yeah. And I did too. Not just a kid, but a teenager and some college. But
actually, all of this.
Yeah.
These are scripts that I've written. I don't know if you can see it. Scripts.
Nice. There's a poem.
Poems.
Japanese too. That's
Japanese. Good. A bunch of poems.
Nice.
And then just.
Dang, a lot of poems.
And
I didn't know you were poets. Kid is a poet.
This has like a book that I was writing. This notebook here.
Has Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse on it, by the way.
This is all just ideas and ideas. I have more of it here somewhere, but.
So cool.
Yeah, I didn't know you didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no. My actual. I love obviously entrepreneurship and filmmaking and all that, and those were things. But my actual biggest like passion, love is writing.
Wow.
That is actually my number one. I know that. Yeah.
Should come over just a little bit here.
Get close to you.
That's good. No, I just way over there.
But yeah, so that is one of my goals. Yeah.
That's so cool. That's cool. I assumed it was all business. I mean, self-help. Maybe there's a little bit of business in there because we're probably going to talk about your story or some of your story. But I assumed it's going to be about, how to run a business or something like that.
No. So when I was a kid, my dad was a big reader, so a lot of my writing actually was influenced by him. And I was actually reading Stephen King books by the time I was like 6 years old. Which probably should. I think my first book that I read was Pet Sematary. Wow. I wouldn't say that was the first book that I read, but it was about 6 or 7 when I read Pet Sematary. And so, like, as a kid, I was inspired by Dr. Seuss, Berenstain Bears, and then so on and so forth.
Stephen King.
And Stephen King, Michael Crichton, John Saul, all this.
Wow. And I love Curious George, but I do like Pet Sematary. That's
only if we could morph both of them together.
Yeah.
Curious George and Pet Sematary. No, but yeah, I've been writing books since I was like a wee little lass.
A wee little lass. Okay. That's awesome. That's so cool. I didn't know that.
Yep. I never dived into it just because for 4 years of my life I was building that other business.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just end up building business after business, and then like my writing goes
away.
But that is
You were born an artist, Kit.
I am an artist. Actually, Matt is more of the business person than me.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not as. I mean, obviously I love business.
Yeah.
But that was not my number one. Business is actually a skill that I learned to love.
Yeah.
It never came naturally to me. It comes naturally to him. It doesn't come naturally to me.
But I do think that, you're good collaborators, and that there are some things, I think, in a business mind that lacks. And maybe it is the artsy, it is the compassion, it is the people person, maybe-esque kind of stuff, or, things that complement the business mind. There's different ways to look at it, I'm sure.
That's something Matt always talks about too. That's our difference, right? He brings the more logical things to this, but I bring the more emotional.
Yes, artists are more emotional. That's for sure. That's what we get paid to do. Well, I don't get paid to do it. But That's true. But I'm just saying.
But no, I think actually. The reason I got into business was because there's a Robert Kiyosaki. Do you know who he is? He wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
Anyways, he wrote the first book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I think that was the book he said, but he wrote about this lady who was an author, and he ended up selling millions of copies, made it to the New York bestseller list with that book. And one of the things one of the ladies was like, how I am a Harvard English major, I'm way better at writing than you, and I don't understand how you're outselling my books, and so on and so forth. So she was like writing him, she was interviewing, and he was like, you have to understand that it's not best writing author, it's best selling author.
Yes, exactly.
So no matter whether you're an artist, an actor, a writer, an entrepreneur, everything you're doing in life is you're selling yourself in different ways, right? And so the skill of business, or just understanding it goes, and no matter who you are, like creative, if you want to make money doing what you love creatively, understanding business or aligning yourself with somebody who understands business helps you go so much farther.
It's true. And and I remember hearing a lot about this kind of this sort of topic as I was entering the film community in Sacramento like 5 years ago. And it was like, it's like just diehard artist actor people, or just like, I'm an emotional actor and I can portray any character and I want to make a living at this. And so, it's just like, that's my skill. Okay. But it's not called show. It's show business. And so
it's a business.
But for me as an actor, still to this day, I just have a hard time grasping the business side of it. Still to this day. I mean, I know a lot more, and I do follow through with the business side of it sometimes now, but to this day, I have a hard time selling anything that people really don't need. I'm just not, Gary Vee. It's like, oh, you just sell and flip it and do this and do that. Any kind of business person, like, oh, I can sell anything. Just give me something, I'll sell it. I'm like, okay, just think of let's just say a Teletubby, one of those Thai stuffed animal thingies. What are they called?
Furbies? I don't know.
Furbies, yeah, sure. It's like, here's a Furby. We made we sold 550 units last year. Oh yeah, cool. And in my mind, and this is just it's just my philosophy.
Right.
It's a human thing for me. A mind philosophical baseline. It's like, okay, here's little Susie, and Susie's mom bought it for her, and now she's gonna take it home. Then what? She's just gonna play with it for about 17 days, and then throw it to the dog, and the dog's gonna rip it up. So they're like, yeah, 550 units, yay! Oh, we made $68,000 last month. Okay, great. I'm trying to calm down. But it's like, okay, now what? I mean, in my mind, I'm like, okay, so I mean, you sleep so well at night because you sold all these units and made you feel so good because you got a lot of money in your bank. But what are you doing for the world? And that's just me. That's just me. And so I'm like, I want to get into business mind. I want to get into the business mind. Now that's just selling stuff. Okay. We can put that aside, selling stuff, products that, now if I was selling, I don't know, something like something healthy, like a healthy snack. Like, I can get behind that. I wish I could get a sponsor with that, because that's something I would have passion about. Anything that I use, anything that I'm passionate about, that I like, that I feel a healthy person would want in their life. Not anything to do with snacks, like any junk food, any soda. That's just, I don't know. That to me is like low-hanging fruit of the world. I just, but like, okay, a Nutri-Grain bar, I can get behind that. When they eat it, somebody eats it, it makes their body feel good. Their bodies feel good. So it's like, I can get behind that. Right. I can get behind so many things that are healthy for the mind and the body. But that's my opinion. And so, but even if some people believe like that's not healthy. Okay, for cigarettes, for example, it's like, I got a job at Marlboro. Okay, cool. I know that they kill people, but it's a job. For me, it's like, no, I would starve myself. I would be homeless before I got a job like that. Like, I just don't. That's an exaggerated example. Right. If we even pull back 88%, I still have a hard time with business. So bringing it back, show business. I know it's about selling myself. And this is the transition I'm in right now within the last 6-8 months. And this is why I quit but one of the reasons why I quit my agency. Because it's like, okay, you get an audition, you have to wear these clothes, you have to have this. And it's like, I get it. We're here to sell ourselves. We're here to live up to the client's expectation, and then we go in for a commercial, and then we look the face of the commercial. But that's not who I am, and I'm trying to do everything I do. I'm trying to get to a point where everything that I do, every creative outlet that I am a part of, is about who I am, and so I have a hard time selling shit that I think that people don't really need or really want, but you have a marketing like societal expectation. You need to have this diet pill to lose weight, to, everything evolves around that kind of stuff. And anyway, so even though I've done it now, but I'm right now in the last 2 months, I'm really trying to class wise, solo show wise, I'm trying, okay, now this is the time, Mark. Just do what you're passionate about, and that you could sell yourself, still be in the show business game, but everything you do, you can get behind.
Right.
That's just, and I guess I know that in some ways those business minded, those casting directors, those producers, directors, or even talent agents, it's well, what are we going to do with this guy? He just wants to do what he wants, and, he wants to have that control over certain projects or whatever. And I just, honestly, in some ways, I wish I wasn't that, but I don't know how to be that.
Right.
And I don't know how not to be myself and want to do things like that I'm passionate about. And I don't know, I'm getting kind of to this moment where I'm just if I don't know, that gives me life. I think that's what it is. It gives me meaning. Mm-hmm. I want to do meaningful stuff. Mm-hmm. Anything outside of that, it's not that I don't care. It's just I just don't find it meaningful that if I was part of a marshmallow commercial,
right,
selling marshmallows to people. Mm-hmm. It's oh God, there's no meaning in that for me. Right. For me, I want to stress that and clarify. People, well, I'm an actor and I do all these commercials, and I'm an actor, or I'm a business person and I sell Bic pens, and I'm okay, do it. If that fulfills you, do that. But I just can't get behind that stuff. Anyway, so I'm trying.
I know. We've had this multiple conversations on this. And this is why I think this is so interesting with the mind of a creative. And it's not something I don't understand, because exactly, that's half me, right?
Yeah.
But I'm also a business person.
Yeah.
And I think...
She wants to get to 575 units.
Yes, 575 units of Furbies. No, but... Well, first of all, I think for me, I do agree with you. I think one of the most evil companies out there are the cigarette industries and the sugar industry. And honestly, if you turn on the TV right now, the TV is going to be one of 3 or 4 things. It's either going to be a Domino's commercial, fast food. It's to follow up with a prescription pill because you've been eating fast food. Insurance, because you need insurance in case you have a heart attack from the Domino's you eat and the prescription pills don't help you. And a car to drive you to go get your Domino's. So literally American media is for these 4 things. In fact, the other day I fucking saw a pizza, Domino's, I think it was pizza. I think it was a Domino's that had insurance for their Domino's pizza. So if somebody we insure your pizza in case you...
What?
I'm so now we're selling insurance for fucking pizza. Well, Domino's is it's like an insurance. If something happens...
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
If something happens on your way, you drop your pizza, don't worry, it's covered.
Yes. Okay.
And so now we're having insurance for our food, which is fucking ridiculous.
I saw it real quick. I saw a prescription pill commercial, and it was like, and maybe there are other pills that do the same thing, but like it was like, you can still take the pills that you're on, because it's like we're competitive. You take this pill instead of this pill for high cholesterol. Like take this pill instead of this pill. No, this commercial was like, no, you continue taking these, but this reinforces these. So you would take 2 of these and 2 of these. And you're like, what?
Yeah, before you know it, you're taking 20.
Yeah, I know, like, ooh, it's so accepted. Now I'm going to go skiing in the Alps.
But,
God damn.
So there are definitely, like, even as a business owner, I look at these companies and I'm like, Jesus Christ, have a heart. But there are things that I also look at and I realize that there are things in life that people buy. And to me, it's complete waste of money. I'm like, why do you even need that? But there is also that human freedom where I don't really have the right to judge people based on the things that make them happy. Now, no matter what anyone tells me, I don't care. Cigarettes are bad. Alcohol is not good. Sugar companies can go to hell. Monsanto can burn up. I don't care. But, like, for me, but as a business owner, like, my company right now is an apparel company. And honestly, I mean, obviously we have to clothe ourselves. I mean, aside from that, I don't think, like, you don't need to spend $500 on a Gucci, right? And I get that. Like, I get that as a person, and I wouldn't spend that. But at the same time, it's not for me to judge what makes other people happy in their life. And we only have so much of life to live, right? And, like, for instance, right now, like I said, I have an apparel company. And my apparel company is based on, the inspiration comes from Okinawa, where I'm from. And the people that have purchased my clothes so many of them have reached out to me, and they're usually U.S. military people who were stationed in Okinawa and no longer stationed. And they're like, I've been looking for something for so long that ties me back to the memories of being back in Okinawa. And finding your brand, your clothes online it's rekindled that. Mm-hmm. So there is like a happiness that comes through that.
Right.
And I think that when businesses are doing the wrong thing is when they're doing it all for profit and not because of passion. Mm. And that to me makes a huge difference on whether you are... See, like for me, marketing, for instance, everyone has this idea that marketing is this evil thing, but I just think marketing as a tool. Marketing can be marketing a nonprofit organizations to help orcas. Marketing can be a new line of cigarettes for children. But marketing is just a tool, and how you use it makes the whole difference, right?
Definitely.
So how I've justified it in my mind, but how I view it as an entrepreneur is everything that I do, every business that I start, every product that I sell, I have to first believe in it. Otherwise, I don't touch it. Mm-hmm. So, for this apparel business, I don't wear clothes. Matt, in fact, there's like this joke that all my boyfriends I've ever had take longer to get ready than me. Like if there's clothes on the ground and it smells good, I'm wearing it that day. So I am not a fashion.
But for clarification, you do wear clothes.
I do wear clothes. I hope so. Am I wearing clothes right now?
Just saying.
But I
know what you mean.
But if I could make an apparel brand, not just like Hanes, not just like a white shirt just to cover somebody for the sake of covering somebody, or like a Gucci that's $500 just for the sake of having a $500 Gucci. But what if I made something that's a shirt that means something to people? And so I never look at marketing or business as evil. I just look at it as tools, and how you use it makes all the difference, right?
Definitely.
So for instance, like you were like, what if somebody was marketing a Bic pen as an actor, and you're like, hey, if that makes you happy, but I'm never going to do that. But what if somebody came up to you and were like, you're a vegetarian, we have this vegetarian cause, would you please consider being...
Definitely.
Right? So it's not It's not the act of marketing to me or business. It's just what you decide to align yourself with that makes the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
definitely.
And you're right. Like, you know, there's people that are like, yeah, give me a product, I'll be able to sell it. And I'm like, great. Yeah, to be able to have that skill, that's great. That's actually a very great skill to have.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you just don't sell everything? What if you just sell the things that matter?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's a...
And that's what it comes down to you too, as an actor.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah, and that's where I kind of was starting the point was that I remember, like, my website is really bland and plain right now. But there was a point where I had, where I said, well, actually, it's the same kind of phrase, but it's basically Mark's doing passionate, like, creative projects he's proud of. Mm-hmm. Basically the same kind of phrase. Well, before I wasn't proud of that. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going out for commercials. Ooh, I'm not proud. Mm-hmm. But now I feel proud. Right. Or at least, you know, I did Groundlings. Yay. But, like, I did it. Like, I'm proud of that. And so I feel when I'm talking about marketing myself as an actor, and you see that on my page, that means something to me now. Right. It's like, oh, he's saying he's passionate about the things he's doing. Cool. Now I might be going to some storytelling events. Cool. Like, do that. Like, and so, yes, I will fully, and I'm saying it right now, I am fully embracing the idea of show business if it's something that I can get behind. Yeah. And I am now. Yeah. And I feel good.
That's good.
And I have that energy and it's just
literally without the business, the show, there's nothing. There's nothing.
There's me in a stage and nobody else.
Exactly. Like you could put your heart and soul into developing this production, but unless you market it to people to come see it, yes, nobody's going to come see it.
Exactly. So I just have to be behind the thing.
You have to be behind the thing. And that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes I'll read marketing books that I don't agree with the people as far as their stance goes, their mentality, but I'll read it anyways because regardless of, because there's always something to learn from somebody regardless of who they are. And, but what I do with that information, I can choose to take and do something better than what they're doing it, using it for.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's like everything, right? Everything is a tool.
Yeah.
And depending on how you decide to use it, changes the quality of that tool. I think, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tool, and I mean, it's like being part of the Hollywood scheme, the Hollywood business, I guess. I mean, that's the crux, is that when you have a mentality like I do, it's not the best thing to do to be in the Hollywood game. What are you doing? Mm-hmm. Why do you want to be an actor then? Oh, you don't want to sell yourself? Then you go be a carpenter. Like, you don't. I mean, you can still have to sell yourself, but like in the Hollywood game, you're selling like your face, your ability, everything. You are a walking product. I've been told that many times. You are a walking dollar sign. You are a walking brand. That's what you are. And so I'm like running into this the ocean of fashion and branding. I'm running into them, and then my mind is like, wait, what are you doing? Like, this is not who you are. And so that's in the last, like I said, months ago, that I'm like, wait, whoa. I'm like, okay, since if I'm going to be splashing in this water, I want to do it my way.
And I think that's admirable. But I will say this too. And actually, I'll say two things. One is, one of the reasons why I think I lost my passion for film is because of how I view Hollywood as a life force right now. I think it's very gritty and very dirty. Mm-hmm. But there is something to be said about the level, and not everybody does this, but there are a few actors and actresses that I admire who get to that level, who have embraced that and turned it around for better. And because of that, they have brought awareness to like charities. They've see, and that's the thing is like when you're just one person, no matter how loud you scream or yell or shout, no one's going to hear you. But if you're one person and you have all these people looking at you, that's like, it's lack of a better word, it's power, right? And there's a lot of actresses and actors out there that have gotten to that point where they're this one person with so many people's eyes on them. And instead of like doing something like, you know, just selling products you don't need, they actually bring awareness to so many issues in the world. Environment, like Leonardo DiCaprio is very big on, I don't know how millions of dollars he's invested in helping the environment. Exactly. And because of his status as Leonardo DiCaprio, so many Leonardo DiCaprio fans have now taken to help fight, preserve our environment. And
there's different ideas about that. There's like who's that guy who does the 1 minute videos? He doesn't do them anymore, but you know what I'm talking about? The guy, I think he's from the Middle East. Well, it's not a very good example because he's not an actor, but my point is that he makes videos and like it's basically like he just does these videos to like I don't even know. They're just human behavior or like certain topics or subjects that you just
Nas?
Yes, Nas Daily.
Nas Daily.
I don't know. He doesn't do the 1 minute thing anymore, but anyway, the point is that he's putting out positive energy, positive energy, and not really for profit, but like to help people, So yeah, and there's not many. And so going back to Leonardo, it's like yeah, there's other actors that are doing that. And I guess as you're talking, it makes me think about, okay, so like I'm thinking of a particular casting director, I'll just say that, who might look at me as making a decision of, oh, I'm going to go on my own now. Instead of going to the traditional route, I want to go on my own because I don't believe in all that stuff. Well, they might look at it as negative. Maybe I'm just assuming that, but I'm pretty sure it's true. Where they're like, well, if you don't want an agent, then you're not serious. You're not professional. You know, because that's will get you in the door to film and TV and all that stuff. And it's like, well, you're right, but I have a hard time with that. And so I just feel like the point is that I can't do what I'm saying I can. But some people think that they can't do what Leonardo DiCaprio is doing now. They can't just like, oh, I'm going to just do all these positive things about and be charitable right now. I have to do it until I got to do all these commercials and I got to do this film. And then I got to get famous and then I get on a platform. What I'm saying right now, I'm doing now. Right. I'm not waiting. I'm being myself. I'm not going to sell my soul. And I have already. But what's left of it, I'm going to keep. That's what I'm saying. That's where I'm putting my feet down now. That's why I'm doing the solo show, because I'm not going to wait for a casting director. And that's cool. I'm still doing the other stuff too, and whatever feature film, if it's about something, a social cause, totally for sure. I'm going to audition for that, or a short film, or a commercial, or a nonprofit, or a local business, a small business. Cool, like 100%. I just did one the other day. Cool, it was fun. But what I'm saying is that what can I do now to fulfill me? And so I'm taking that stand now. And regardless of the situation, regardless of however many people go to the solo show, it doesn't matter. I'm doing something to fulfill me. And it almost to the point where I'm telling my teacher, it's almost to the point where it's an ego thing. Like, it doesn't matter like who comes, if I do the marketing, whatever. It's just like, I need to get this out. And I have to say real quick, when I was in Hollywood, I think things happen for a reason. My heart is open and vulnerable because I don't know anybody there. I'm just walking around Hollywood Boulevard, looking at all these characters, and I'm one of those people that is approaches anybody, is not afraid to approach anyone. So basically, a guy from Jamaica and I, one of those people that tries to hand you a CD and you're like, no, thank you. Well, we ended up talking for like 20 minutes. And I'll just say real quick, the main thing he told me, he said, you have a gift. And it's waiting for you to open it up and to give it to them. Regardless, and that's my own mind telling me, regardless of what you think, the opinions and all this stuff, just give it to them. Mm-hmm. And it was like, man, like it really touched me, because it's like, okay, I just randomly talked to this guy and would just, you know, I could have talked about anybody, and he was just like, he was saying those things, and it just kind of gave me this feeling like, oh man, okay, just another sign to say, okay, I gotta do this. This is it.
That's good.
So, anyway, but yeah, no, it's true. I mean, there are some actors that do that. They like do those things. There's other actors, and they don't partake in the party's life, and they don't do, you know, they just want to do the craft, and that's where I want to stay. That's I want to. I just have to walk into. I just want it to be fulfilling. That's it. That's all.
Yeah. That's honestly all we can do and hope for. It is, but I mean, to be able to live and die by your rules, that's a lot better, I think, than being forced to, you know, live by somebody else's. And even Russell Brunson, he's a ClickFunnels marketer, but that was one thing he was saying was similar to what the Jamaican guy was saying, is everybody has a voice and everybody has a unique voice, and there are so many people out there waiting to hear your voice. And if you don't open up and allow yourself to be heard, then you're just doing the world a disservice. I probably said it better than how it was written in the book. But I remember that line, and that's what
I feel like that's a great line to wrap it up on.
Oh, yeah, because it's an hour and 10 minutes. So, sorry for the technical difficulties. So this video and podcast will probably be very weird. But wow, I think this one actually came out pretty intense towards the end there.
Yeah.
You got very passionate. That's not a bad thing.
I don't know how not to be sometimes.
No, that's okay.
And so I'm like, okay, the levels are too high.
No, it's
okay.
Well,
I'm
who cares?
Getting caught in my thoughts. But
I think the more we do this, the more we get better at it technically,
exactly.
As well as...
That's why some people say, I tell them, I got a podcast going. I'm like, really? I want to listen to it. What is it about? I'm like, just rambling. I don't know what to tell them. Exactly.
I don't know. I've been telling them... What actually piqued Matt's interest was like, it's the perspective of life between a business or entrepreneur and an artist. And just the similarities and differences of two people in completely separate industries trying to achieve the same thing.
Ah, God.
Oh my God.
Nothing more to say.
Look, marketing right here. I just know how to spin words. I don't know.
Yes.
Anyways, yes, thank you for listening. It has been Table Talk 23, Mark, Kit, and again, hope you guys listen to it next month when we're back. So, all right, we're good.
Ow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stop. And...